I believe that God has the power to do everything in my life and make everything happen in my life, but I also lose trust so quickly in Him when uncertainty comes. I lose trust that He's going to come through again for me. Welcome back to the What's the Dill podcast. I'm your host, Pete Dill, and today we're going to talk about why it's hard for high achieving men, high achievers, to follow God. I consider myself a high achiever, and I've wrestled with this and I've struggled with this topic a lot in my life. And I wanted to dig in 3 reasons that I think it's hard for high achievers to follow God, men or women, but obviously guys, so speaking from guy perspective. And 3 solutions I think that we can do to let go and follow God more deeply. Okay, so first let's jump into the problem. Being a high achiever is tough in the world standards. Measuring ourselves by success, by metrics, by what we've earned. Hey, I worked really hard at this. I've earned that raise. Hey, I've worked really hard at this. I've earned that trophy. I've earned that medal. I've earned this success. I've tried. I've put a lot of effort into this. And because of my effort, I've got a lot out of it. That's like the thinking, the reasoning that exists in the world that a lot of us subscribe to. And it's even challenging to live by that way, not like in a faithful context. Just living that way in your work or your job or your life or your hobbies or what you're trying to do can still be challenging. It can hard to be a high achiever just in life, always trying to do more, always trying to outdo yourself, holding yourself to the highest standard. And I don't want to speak outside of the faith context. I want to speak in the faith context because I think there's a certain personality type that a lot of guys have and some gals out there about being a high achieving Catholic. Well, I think one big reason is because the faith life and the walk with Christ is not measured by success, or it's not measured by how hard we work at it, how intensely we work at it. Oftentimes, the walk with Christ is finding freedom and peace and joy in the spiritual life, in the struggles, in the day-to-day, in our walk, not necessarily in the destination. And that can be really hard for high achievers because high achievers, we like to set goals, set metrics, crank them out one by one, and hit the goal. And the crazy thing with following God is God's like, dude, these are fine. These can be good guardrails to have in the life, but ultimately Jesus is trying to win over our hearts and win over every part of us to lean on Him for trust in every single part of our life and to take away that feeling of we have to do it all. We have to put in more effort and put in the right effort and the correct effort to get the most out of the spiritual life, to get the most out of the walk with Christ. And that's challenging because how can you turn it off? How can you turn off the switch of I achieve success in my life in every other area of my life, but in the spiritual life, it's just like, yeah, man, let go, just have peace, just keep it pretty chill. God's taking care of it. The contrast is pretty crazy a lot of the times. So I want to jump into 3 reasons why it's hard for high achievers to follow God, and then 3 solutions that I think we can work on as a fellow high achiever out there in following God. Reason number 1 why it's hard to follow God as a high achiever: we equate God's love with our performance. We're so used to earning praise and accolades from being the best, from achieving things and getting a response from people for that achievement. We can be so used to that. Hey, I came in first place in this competition. I won this award. I made this amount of money this past year. I traveled the world. I did these things. And people go, oh, that's amazing. You're so amazing. You're so amazing, Pete. But with following Christ, I think sometimes we can put that same energy towards God, which is, I go to Mass every week. I get to confession. I make sure I pray. I do these things. And we do these things, but a lot of times we do those things to check them off. Or we can fall into that trap, which is if I do these things, this will be a check off for the ultimate goal of peace, freedom, joy, in Christ. On the flip side, why this can be a really big problem for high achievers, it's because if I don't do these things, I'm lazy, I'm pathetic, I'm such a waste of space. Why do I keep falling into the same sin? Oh my gosh, why do I do this? Why am I doing this? I'm such an idiot. We equate our God's love and vision of us. We equate God's love and God's view of us with our input. When we're really good, okay, God must think I'm doing great. God's so proud of me. When we're bad, we think I'm a lazy idiot. Oh, God, you're so ashamed of me, probably. You're probably so embarrassed of me. Why do I keep falling into this same sin? Why? I should be better than this. I should be better than this. I'm better than this. Because deep down, we have that belief, which is if I don't perform and execute well in the spiritual life, I'm not lovable, even to God. People expect me and need me to be hitting these metrics and hitting these marks in the spiritual life for me to be a good boy, to be a good man, and for God to love me. We envision God as an angry father just saying it's not good enough. You got an A, why wasn't it an A plus? You got a C, you're never going to go to college. We kind of, I think, put God in that box of this demanding father figure who's just never really accepting of our efforts. And we try and we try and we try and we say, hey, look, God, look what I did. I did this for you. I went on a mission trip for you. I became a missionary for you. I stayed away from this group of people for you. I stayed away from this sin for you. I go to mass every single week and I go to daily mass for you. I go to adoration for you. I'm doing this for you. So you can pat me on the head and say, good boy, you did it. You did it. That's my input is directly correlated with how much you love me. My achievements, my success in this spiritual life is directly correlated to how much you love me. But what's the truth? What's the spiritual truth? Romans 5:8 says, while we were still sinners, Jesus died for us. It's such a great line because Jesus is like, hey, listen, I love all those things. I still need to die for you, even though you're sinners. Like, I still need to die for you because you're sinners. But that doesn't mean like, oh, we're such poor, pathetic people. Jesus had to die for us. No, it means that Jesus loves us so much, even in our filth, even in our sin. Jesus still loves us. When we put that demanding father figure energy towards God, it's like not right. It's not real. God has expectations of us, but he's always cheering us on. Remember the prodigal son father. He looked out every single day waiting for his son to come home. That's God the Father's energy. That's his energy with us. Out looking every single day, waiting for us to come back, waiting to put a robe on us, waiting to put a ring on our finger. That's his energy. Yes, there is a time where Jesus demands a lot out of us, and God demands a certain standard to live by. But it's not to keep us down. It's in fact for the demands come, the rules come, the expectations come for us to step into the person God is calling us to be and prepare us for the future. So when we are struggling, when we are trying to be better, we keep falling and we feel like we're being called and stretched and pulled and saying, I can't live up to his expectations, can be hard and very challenging, especially for higher achievers who say, oh my gosh, I'm not used to failing at this type of thing. I'm so used to success. But it's actually God preparing us for what he's got prepared for us. It's God preparing us for the next season, to be better, be the best version of ourselves so we can handle it. So God's love for us isn't bouncing back and forth on like, he's not bouncing back and forth like, you were really good today, Pete. Proud of you. You were really bad today, Pete. I expected more of you. It's not really like that. And I know we all fall into that. When I fall into sin, when I fall into negative thought patterns, I'm like, God, you're probably so disappointed in me, right? And sometimes I hear God be like, not really, actually. I understand your weaknesses. I understand your heart better than you are, better than you. Yeah, actually, not really disappointed in you. I want you to be better, and we're going to get better together right now. Recommit yourself right now. So as high achievers, we have to understand that no matter how much we do, God can't love us anymore. And when we're at our worst, God still loves us. It's okay. You can experience God's love and God's grace even in your worst of your worst, even when you're failing. So, what's a quick solution we can do to work on? What's a quick practice we can do to work on this idea of not trying to earn God's love? One, let's waste time with God. Let's waste time with God in prayer, but let's not put any structure to it. We can waste time and just be with God, our Father. And it doesn't have to have a reading. It doesn't have to have a Bible verse. It doesn't have to have a certain amount of set time. It doesn't have to say, oh, I did a really good prayer time today. Let's practice recklessly wasting time with God. So maybe that's going for a drive and just being with God. No music, no anything, no set times, just being with God. Maybe it's sitting outside for a certain amount of time, just being with God. Let's meditate on God's love as a gift, not a reward for us. And when we were meditating on this, we're not producing anything. This is not a final product. There's no success. There's no metrics. It's just wasting time with God. Now, you're not used to that, are you? You're not used to wasting time. You're used to achieving and making the most out of your time, making the most out of your prayer, putting an order to your day. So let's release this idea that we need to be productive with God and just spend time with God. So let's spend time with our Father. Let's just be there. We don't have to put a name on it, put a tag on it, put a time on it. No product associated with it. Let's spend time meditating that God's love for us is a gift to us. Let's remember the prodigal son, the father of the prodigal son, waiting, ready to give to us, always there for us. Reason number 2 why it's hard for high achievers to follow God: we hate losing control. High achievers are used to structure, used to goals, used to having a plan, an action plan, and executing on that action plan and getting results. Putting in the effort in the process, putting in the effort and getting results. That's what higher achievers are used to. But faith and following God in the walk with Christ doesn't require strategy. It requires surrender. Like, so much of it comes down to just surrendering our hearts, surrendering our future, surrendering our emotions, surrendering more to God, and just like giving it to Him and saying, you do with it what you will. But right now we can say, Lord, I give you my entire life, my entire being, my entire actions, my entire future, my entire career. It's yours. Do with it what you want. I mean, very easy to say, right? But to actually believe it, very hard. Lord, take my career wherever you want to take my career. Lord, if you don't want me to go to college, I won't go to college. Lord, if you want me to join the seminary, I'll join the seminary. Lord, if you want me to have another kid, even though I don't think we have enough money for another kid, I'll have another kid. Lord, if you want me to continuously give to the community I'm involved with, I'll continuously give to the community. Like, He's constantly asking us to surrender and trust Him that He has a plan. And oftentimes as high achievers, we believe in, well, I don't really know the results of that plan. I don't know what the end goal is of that plan. So I don't know, man. I don't know if we actually have a plan. I got a plan. I got a good strategy. I don't really know if you have your plan set. So I'm going to hold on to some control so I can kind of control some of the outcomes of my life. And I can feel safe and secure in the outcomes I know I can control. But sometimes God doesn't give us a 10-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 1-year plan. Sometimes God doesn't even give us a 1-week plan. Sometimes, a lot of times, God is calling us to daily, right now, trust in Him and surrender in Him and be with Him and believe that He's got believe that God has exactly what we need for today. And it's just like the ancient Israelites in Exodus, where He gave them manna to feed them every single day. And after the day ended, the manna went bad, and they tried to store the manna to say, okay, well, I need this for tomorrow, and it would go bad and it would spoil. But every single day, God gave them their daily bread, enough for that day, and He continued to provide for them until they didn't need it anymore. And I think as high achievers, we don't believe that the good times can keep rolling if we don't have an effect on it, if we don't have control on it. Like, oh God, you're just gonna provide for me every single day, and I'm just gonna be along for the ride, and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep giving you all the things that you need and want. And I mean, yeah, I think so. I think so. God's gonna keep providing everything we need. He's really not gonna, when you follow God, He's really not gonna just like let you, go to the wayside. John 10:10, God says, I came to give life and life in abundance. We have to believe in that. We have to believe in God's plans and give control over to him. Proverbs 3:5 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Very hard for high achievers. Very hard to do. Lean not on my own understanding. Well, Lord, you gave me the gifts. You gave me this understanding. I'm super sharp. I'm super smart. Graduate with honors in college. And I'm not supposed to use it. I'm not supposed to lean on it. I've gotten pretty far leaning on my own understanding, Lord. So I think I'm going to take it. I'm going to keep on a little bit here. I'm going to take it from here. I'm not really going to give you these things that I need to work on. I just kind of need you to be a co-pilot with me. I need you to bless my own plans that I got. I need you to kind of anoint the things I got going and trust that I'm going to do good with the results I get. I'm going to do good with the money I make. I'm going to do good with the things that I create in this world. Don't worry. Don't worry about that. It's not a lack of faith. I got a ton of faith. I just need to kind of keep cranking on my plans, and I promise you I'll give you all the glory. I mean, sounds pretty decent, and if you're a high achiever out there, what I said kind of sounds pretty decent, right? But let's remember, we have to surrender the outcomes of our life to God. We have to surrender the outcomes of our spiritual life to God. So what's a solution? Solution number 2 we can do to help this, to help surrender more to God. Let God interrupt your plans. Oh, that stings. Let God interrupt my plans. We can start to pray, and God said, Lord, I surrender to you the outcomes of my life. I surrender to you the plans of my life, and tear down the things that are not of you, and take away the things that are not of you, and that things that I do not need in my life. Ooh, that's a hard prayer. We can say, Lord, you have permission to lead even when it's unclear. We can try to just have spontaneous acts of love or of prayer or of silence, and to not put a structure on those spontaneous acts. To maybe pop into a church when you're driving by and just go in and say, hey, I'm just going to go in and meet you here, God. Pay for someone's food behind you at a drive-through. Try something spontaneous, not try to understand or even evaluate the outcomes. Just do something to surrender to God your plans that interrupts your day, interrupts the normal flow of I have control of every aspect of my daily life. And then on a deeper level, we can accept uncertainty with more and more trust with God and see him work in our life and see him work more and more. This is a really, really tough one for me. This is so tough for me. Like, I believe that God has the power to do everything in my life and make everything happen in my life, but I also lose trust so quickly in him when uncertainty comes. I lose trust that he's going to come through again for me. Well, you came through that time, Lord, but I feel like I got a hard lesson coming my way this time, and I have uncertainty in you, and I'm losing trust that you really got a plan here. You got control of the reins here, dude. You got control of the steering wheel, because I feel like this is going off the rails, and I'm starting to lose trust that you really know what's going on. We have to continuously renew our trust in God in uncertain times. Okay, so reason number 3 why it's hard for high achievers to follow God: we base our identity on what we do, not who we are. We do this by letting our resume speak for itself, our achievements speak for itself, by letting people love us and respect us on our achievements. So when people are giving us glory and praise and congratulating us on all the good things that we achieved, we say, yeah, I feel good about myself. I feel good that I'm doing the right thing because people are telling me I'm doing good because of the good things I'm doing. We let our spiritual resume try to speak for us. Hey, I go to daily mass. I get to confession at least once a month to keep myself honest. I go on one mission trip a year. I was a missionary for 2 years out of college. All these things that I kind of do. We let our spiritual resume speak for us. But we know that, a spiritual resume, you tell people all the things you do, that's okay. But deep down in our hearts, where we only keep it with ourselves, we can be judgmental. We can struggle with sin, with lust. We can struggle with a substance. We can struggle with judging others. We can struggle with trust. We can struggle with father wounds. We can struggle with abuse wounds, things that we hold on to ourselves we don't want to give to God. So we try to put that resume in front of people to hide the deeper, darker things that we have going on in ourselves. We say, hey, listen, if I can just kind of pump out these spiritual things that keeps people at arm's length, say, hey, I'm doing this. I'm doing good. I'm doing prayer. I'm going on a retreat next month. Things are going great with the family. We're getting, going to mass every week, doing all these great things. And yeah, man, life is good. God is so good. We're so blessed. Work is super good. We're just super blessed. We're busy, but we're super blessed. So God is really good to us. And you say that, and that's great. but deep down inside, you're angry at your wife or girlfriend. You're struggling with that same sin over and over again. Still haven't forgiven that person from your childhood who made fun of you. You are quick to anger with people at work. These things that maybe other people don't see, other Catholics, Christians don't see, but we hide them and we keep them to ourselves, and we just wrestle with these darker sides of us because we don't want it to affect our spiritual resume. So we say, hey, I can deal with these things because my identity is in what people think of me. My identity is in what I do and what people think of me. It has nothing really to do with my spirit or essence or who I am. But it's like, if I can just list off the things that I do and tell people about, and people say I'm doing good, then great. That's where my identity lies. If people are happy for me because I work for a Catholic organization, they say, wow, you must be doing great. You work for this Catholic organization. Great. That's what I care about. We try to be a good Catholic rather than a beloved son or daughter of God. Oh, that stings. Oh, what does that even mean? I'm a beloved. Yeah, I get it. I'm beloved, but I want to be a good Catholic. I want people to think I'm a good Catholic. Okay? But deep down, do I trust and believe that I am beloved, I am loved, and that no matter what I do, God loves me so, so much? I don't know. It's a little bit hard, a little bit of a harder truth to reckon with. So solution number 3 in this is root our identity in God and in being rather than doing. We can daily remind ourselves, I am beloved by God. I'm his beloved son. I am not his employee. I am a loved son of God. I am a baptized, sealed son of God, not an employee that's going into a mid-year review. We can take action by not trying to do something for God, but just by being with God. Again, going back to what we were saying about like, hey, we can just be with God. It's okay if we're just being, if we're not doing anything. It's okay if we're not hitting that spiritual resume. And if we do hit that spiritual resume, if we do hit up adoration, maybe we can actually not tell someone about it. Maybe when someone actually asks about our life, maybe we can actually say the things we're struggling with rather than the good things. Maybe try that on for size, knowing that, hey, will this person still love me if I say the bad things like God will? I hope so. We can ask ourselves this question, if I stop performing, who am I? That's a good, gut check. If I stop performing and doing these things, who am I? We are God's beloved, and all of our actions need to come from that we're God's beloved and everyone else is. So we should treat everyone else like they're beloved from God, and that they're our brothers and sisters, not, again, an employee, a coworker that we're fighting for a promotion with. So that's one of the solutions I think we can try to do, is root our identity in God and in being rather than doing. So last kind of like summary is, the Christian life, it's not about achieving. It's not about success. It's really about being with God. It's really about stripping ourselves down and surrendering so we could hear God and answer that call to God. So, this speaks near and dear to my heart. High achievers, the high achieving Catholic, super, super challenging. But, I think we can do it together. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. If you feel like you're a high achiever and you struggle with some of these things, let me know. Let me know how you deal with them. Let me know about the solutions you think are in here. I'd love to get your feedback on this because, I think it's something very personal to me and I wanted to talk about it. Something I'm dealing with right now, the old success metrics. God, do you still love me if I am having less prayer than I did a year ago? God, do you still love me if I keep struggling with these things? Do you still love me, God? I'm definitely dealing with that. So love to hear from you as usual. Please reach out. Let me know your thoughts. That's going to be it for me today. Talk to y'all soon. God bless y'all. Peace. Bye.